Charges on the beat.
To get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kebab, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, I do, but
Spoon TV. Spoon.
yes, I do, but
Spoon TV. Spoon.
All right, folks. Welcome to another edition of the program, Spoon Talk. Like I always told you, yes, this is the biggest thing that takes place on radio, online, at this time. Welcome to it. We are coming to you live on Spoon 107.5 FM. Fabric 101.1 FM, Super 95.5 FM. We're also live online on Fabric TV, Spoon TV, Super TV, and on YouTube, Spoon Talk as well. It's great to be back on your radio this lovely weekend. Today is Saturday, and it's the 4th day of March 2023. And let me say welcome to James Samuel Good Day Flomo. Dr. Richardson also. Welcome. It's great to be here this day. I'm very much delighted to be here, especially seeing that the Richardson. I'm now on the show most of it during the week and on Saturday now due to some structural enrichment. So thanks for holding the ground, and thanks to James too as well.
Yeah, Aaron, it's good to see you. I'm sure we're going to have a great show today. Whenever you are producing and others are producing, you guys know exactly what to do. You're great at your job. So thanks for being here. It's good to see you, and I'm sure Liberians are going to enjoy the show today. Good day. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Come on me.
Yeah. Yes, that's good. I like that. I'm sure Liberians are liking it when you say God is minding you. So Liberians, this is your, safe space. This is the place for you to come and listen to issues that are going on in our country. And together we all can decide how to make our country a more deserving country, a better Liberia, a country where we all can live peacefully and respect each other. So this is your place. Come here, grab a friend, sit down somewhere and listen to the show. If you have access to your digital device, like your computer or cell phone, you can get on the show and kind of engage in the comment section. We periodically look that way to make sure that we include you in the conversation. So Liberians, this is, as the CEO TT Cannon said, this is your place. This is your safe place. It is Saturday. Here is a rough Saturday. My panelists will be rolling in because on Saturday it's kind of like for some of us who work Monday to Friday type work days. We have like Saturdays, the only day that you got in your week to be able to do stuff at the house, run around. So I did some running around today, ran some errands. I hope you did yours too. I hope you're done with everything. I'm not quite done. I'm probably working. I have my last daughter cleaning up her room. So when I'm done, it's time for room inspection. And it's time to make sure that everything is done well today. And then, of course, we got to clean up the house on Saturdays. I don't know if you guys remember James or Aaron. During my days growing up in Liberia, on Saturday, we had to move all the furniture, clean up everything, dust everything. That was what our parents used to make us do. Make sure that everything. I used to hit that job. I used to hit cleaning up every day. I don't know why they didn't make us take all the furniture out, move the furniture around, clean up, wash floor, all kind of different things. And the next Saturday, we're doing the same thing over and over again. So I don't know about you guys. Did you guys have to do that job?
That was one of the days I hated because I can be very honest. I never used to get involved into that, but one of the things I hated about Saturday at the time I was growing up was that they don't cook on that day, because maybe they're just dry ready to cook way in the evening hours.
Like Jared, I cook food these days,
way in the evening hours. So I always, when Saturdays coming, I always used to worry because when during the way you see the big palm butter part on the fire and go out there and play, come by me your food on Saturdays. Because of the too much of work, our sisters, and mothers, family members are working. They are tired, so maybe by 5 p.m. before they put a dry wrap on the fire, and then So I used to hate Saturdays.
Me, I grew up in the interior, so we used to eat every day.
Look at you, James.
Yeah, I made you
In Gisbega, our man, they can go from Sunday to Sunday. We go on the farm, we come back, our food ready.
Wow, that is nice. It's so nice to hear how, the beautiful culture of Liberia, the beautiful family dynamics of Liberia. I really enjoy it. But, like I share, mine was you just got to clean up on Saturday. The people, my dad's be rise and shine. I'll be like, rise and do what? What we shining for again today? The point you get put hard in that control until you become an adult, then you realize that, all the things that they were talking that were true. So yeah, I am today. After the show, I'll be inspecting my daughter's room to make sure that she clean up. She can probably hide. They can hide her clothing under the bed, so I gotta be checking all under the bed to see. Once a student was a schoolmaster before, so they think they can fool me. They didn't know I was there before. But let me ask you guys to tell us some trending issues in the country, and then we're gonna go over and welcome our viewers, our audience today. Yesterday I neglected to do that, so I will do that today. They're very important to the show. This is their show. This is Liberia's show. This is the only station where they can come and feel free to express themselves. They can talk and say whatever they want to say. And then the panelists will be rolling in. Today we have a very, very dynamic show for you guys. Excuse me. We're expecting Jake Brown to come in. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was drinking earlier. So when he comes in, he's going to introduce himself. So if you want to know more about him, just start Googling him or contact his Facebook page. But we will be telling you more about him. And we also want to talk. James, you said something yesterday that stuck in my mind. You said that Nibians Nicodemously. Nicodemously was the word that you used. That I'm aware. Okay? Endorsed George Weah yesterday. And
Nimakwado.
Yes, Nimakwado. That is Nimakwado, right? Nicodemously endorsed George Weah yesterday. So I want you to go into that a little bit. Tell us about this Nimakwado to the extent that you know this group. And I wanted to ask the panelists and ask Liberians, why Nicodemously endorse somebody? Why you gotta go quietly, like talking about Gina, like Mami Wata, You just Coca-Cola. Y'all know about Coca-Cola? Like so kind of.
Yeah, I heard about Coca-Cola.
Yeah, so why you gotta behave like because Nicodemus that American people were that in the place. So a lot of people they Nicodemus, you gotta go to Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola again. You only heard about that story, like mommy was talking that story to endorse something that you say you like. I don't never seen that other one before since 1847. So I want us the panelists, I wanted James to expand on that area. I even wanted to expand on that when the time comes. So those are the two things. Then we're going to open the phone line a lot today, my fellow Liberians. We want Liberian people to engage us to talk to this Saturday. If I have control as Madam Tidi and I work, I want it to be a moment where Liberians people can talk to us. And this is a relaxed day. But today we want to talk about citizen responsibility and rights. The citizens' rights and responsibility. What are our rights in our country? What are our responsibilities? Because every day we're talking, the person, the opposition is supposed to kind of get the country better. The government is supposed to make the country better. What are you doing in your community to bring people together, to help them, educate them? When you listen to a spoon, I come here to just be talking here for nothing all the time. We want you to be listening. Let it think, be marinating in your head, reasoning, thinking, critically thinking. Are you sharing that information with other people? So, I heard on Spoon, the information sounded okay. The information didn't sound okay to me. How you think you can manage for our country? And then when you do that, you begin to gather people in your community to help bring change to our country so our country can look better than the other country in our region, and of course, subsequently, developing country at large. That's kind of what I want us to do today. So y'all be calling in and y'all be telling us what you're doing. Okay, you as a person, what are you doing to bring change to our country? What are you doing to make your life better in Liberia, as difficult as it is? What are you doing? That's what the nature of the phone call would be like this. Are you recruiting people? Because October 10th coming, do you know where are you asking questions about where the voters registration center will be? Are you getting people together so you can go register to vote? Those are the kind of things that I'd like to know when I call you. So let's go to you guys. Want to tell us some trending news in the country, and then we'll go to welcome our people.
Yeah, so I just joined the Saturdays team as a producer, and most of the time in Liberia there is a news drought. On Saturdays and during weekends, yes, people are not really focused, on making news. So there's people consider Saturday as a day for leisure, and so but something happened today too as well. There are lots of things are happening, and so I managed to get them. The MPC political leader, Seymour Freeman, a businessman too as well, and also a politician, made a disclosure today to journalists at his party's headquarters around the Airfield area. He said that the party, the MPC, has filed 2 lawsuits with the Supreme Court. They filed 2 lawsuits at the Supreme Court. One, a writ of mandamus compelling the government to appoint the ombudsman. There are some of us listening. The writ of mandamus, it is a legal writ that is filed within the code, compelling either a government or an institution, like especially the government, to perform an act required by law, especially in the case that the code of conduct calls for the office of the ombudsman to be established, and someone should be appointed to hear issues relating to violations as it relates to the code of conduct. And since that law was passed, I think one time I can remember that the president appointed Abraham Abi Kuman to that position, but did not take in Fed. We didn't see him, acting as relates to what the code of conduct calls for. And so Mr. Seymour Freeman is saying that now that we're going towards election, a very critical year in our country, there will be issues that will come up, and especially issues that have to do with the violation of the code of conduct. Where do Liberians run? Because if the code of conduct says that there should be an office of the ombudsman established, so you cannot run directly to the court. You'll be sent back on the issue about the ombudsman. So the ombudsman needs to be created. So he has filed a writ of mandamus, requesting the court to file a writ of mandamus against the government to compel them to appoint an ombudsman. And then the second lawsuit, he said, is against the office of the pro tem, the office of the speaker, and the office of the deputy speaker. According to him, $1.9 million is allotted in the budget for the pro tem. $2 million for the speaker, $1.5 million for the deputy speaker. He believed that these amounts are so very much huge for such a poor country like Liberia. And so he filed this lawsuit calling on the Supreme Court to place a hold on these amounts mentioned in the budget. And he also called on the Supreme Court to go backward. Since those people were elected as speakers, deputy speakers, and pro tem, the money that the bank taking within the budget, those are very huge sum, is unreasonable. And so he's calling on the Supreme Court to ensure that they pay those money back so they can be redirected to either the health sector, the education sector, and other sectors. So that's the two suits he's filed. According to him, the first hearing will be done through a conference on the 16th of this month in the Justice in Chambers office. And then the second hearing for the second lawsuit will be done on the 17th of this month. So those are two lawsuits. According to him, he's filed. That's Mr. Seymour Freeman. He's also calling for opposition collaboration. He's saying that there's a need that they challenge the census result. We know that the government quite recently through Legis released the census result or report. Mr. Seymour Freeman is calling for opposition collaboration to challenge the census result. And also, according to him, they've launched a drive to solicit signatures to challenge the results. So he's calling on other political parties to also join them in this entire drive, so that with about 100,000 or 200,000 Liberians come out to say that we were not counted, then they can go to the court to challenge this entire result. Today, Mr. Alexander Cummings, the political leader of the ANC, by extension the CPP, was in Mossorado County District number 10. You know, a lawmaker who comes from his political party, even though he has resigned, Yeke Koluba, is from that district, District number 10. And so Mr. Cummings was in District number 10 today, speaking with the young people, and showing them that when he wins the election, he's going to look up to them, make sure that they get education, better health care, development of the country, and all other things. There were people that were there, but the number, James will talk more about that. You know, James always analyzing numbers and the number of people that attend some of the events. So James will talk more about that. Then today, market women of Gardnersville, that place is in Gardnersville, around the Gardnersville area there along the Japan Freeway, they appreciated Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji. According to them, they appreciated him because of his intervention made when a private a citizen in that around that area sued them, and that land was his private land, and he wanted them evicted from the area. And according to them, Mayor Jefferson Koji intervened and worked along with the code. He stated that that land was a public land and not a private land. And so according to them, the code rule that yes, the land is a public land and they can go ahead and sell there. But Mayor Koji was very clear that this land is a public land. While you have the opportunity to sell here, there will be time that the government will evict you, but not a private citizen, because this land does not belong to a private citizen based on the ruling of the court. So these are some of the trending news. James can pick up from there. Maybe there are some of the things that are trending that I did not say. James can just pick up from there.
James?
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. And today, like you said, Mr. Cummins embarked on his quest to improve his 7% to at least maybe 10 or 11 or maybe 20% after 2023. And we all watched the press conference that took place the last time involving Mr. Teller, and everyone in the country and out of the country talk about how the public relation officer or the media relation officer organized that press conference. And information coming from the Monrovia City Corporation says even the mayor was not happy with him organizing a press conference, and that led to his suspension. As you can see, he tried in a press conference to even control Mr. Thales Bolle during the press conference. He kept telling Thales what to say and what not to say, and consistently he interrupted Thales during the press conference to the extent he never wanted the man to control his own hands. So as we speak, he has been suspended, and the mayor attended 2 media events, including today. He was not part of it. And according to my source from the city corporation, the mayor is not even pleased and told him not to go around him because his news conference created too many Pandora boxes regarding this situation. He was not instructed to have that press conference, but to just release a statement. But he went ahead by organizing a press conference, and the press conference brought dark cloud over the entire situation. So Peketa Bobby is currently suspended as we speak. He's the media relation officer, the guy you saw pushing Thales' hand on the table. Yeah, he's currently
he's the communications director.
Yeah, the communication director. He's currently suspended. And again, one of the reasons I'm told was this young man, when he released his quote-unquote certificate to carry a weapon, that also prompted the media to keep asking questions whether he's qualified to carry a weapon. So this and the Thales issue contributed to that. So the case is getting harder. People who started to, direct the media are getting suspended, and more to come. I'm told even the security director, the mayor, is not happy with him for him displaying weapon in the public. The mayor is not happy with him. So let's see what's going to happen at the end of the day. Yeah, so regarding the death, that is one of the major updates. And today, I'm also told family members of Councillor Scott were invited to the Liberia National Police headquarters. When they got there around 10 a.m., the police told them that they forgot to invite them on a Saturday because that route is always jam-packed during Saturdays. That is the Douala Way, what her place? I'm forgetting about her community. Braville. Yeah, the route from Douala to Braville is always jammed with traffic on a Saturday. So they asked them to go home, and they will get to them later. The mission was for them to go to where the incident took place, but the police made a mistake by inviting them on a Saturday. So when they got there, I'm told the police told them to go home to their 16th Street resident, and they will get back to them when the time comes.
Okay. James, thank you very much. for your trending news. I'd like to welcome Mr. Warsey, one of our panelists here today. Thank you so much. I know you had a lot of things to do on this Saturday, but you are volunteering your time to be a part of the conversation about Liberia. So thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to chit chat a little bit about the trending news that we heard until our panelists roll in. But before we do that, I'd like to say hello to our Liberians who are watching us by way of social media. And also during that time, I'm sure some additional colleagues of mine will roll in.
Okay, can I interrupt you a bit? I just got an update coming in.
Go
that
ahead.
the National Executive Committee of the National Patriotic Party has suspended with immediate effect its national chairman, Senator James P. Biden, for
NPP
acts incompatible. For acts incompatible with his status as national chairman, including his failure to honor the instruction of two-third majority of the party. I hope you can remember when that quote-unquote document was signed, they believed that he did not honor the two-third majority of the NEC by he did not honor it by not signing the coalition framework document authorized by the executive committee. The executive committee believes that after they agreed to sign a resolution authorizing the chairperson to sign the framework document, the chairman did not honor their decision by signing that document. We saw the vice president, I think the secretary, we saw them attending that event with other party members. So this information coming in says NPP has suspended him, for that act. So we hope to hear from the camp of Senator James P. Biden, but this may deepen.
Yes. Senator Biden, if you are listening, we'll love to hear from you. We'll love to hear your side of the story regarding your suspension for not signing the framework document and not abiding to the 2/3 majority of the National Executive Committee. So we'd love to hear from you. Please contact, James Goodday or myself by way of WhatsApp, so you can come and explain your story to the Liberian people. I'm going to just welcome our people so far and see who's here. I want to thank you for joining us. Participate in the conversation by way of your comments here. I see Leonardo F. Bobo is here. Kula God Favor Rogers is here from Broadville. Kula, how are you doing today in Broadville? Quay B. Kamara is here from Rowersport, Grand Cape County, the home of my ancestors, my paternal ancestors. So thank you so much for being here. If you're in Cape Mount County, Rowersport, I say hello. Come and join the show. Archie Archvilla Trop is here. He says good evening. Daniel G. Buell is here. He's watching from Morovia. Morovia is here. Come on, let's watch the show together. All of you that are in Morovia, join the show. I like to say Philip Bala. There's a Philip Bala here. He says, good evening, my Spoon family. Good evening to you. Othello Dillon is here. He's watching. Shah Son is here watching as well. Vince K. Baxter is here. Thank you, Vince, for being here. Kwesi Wallace is here. He's watching from Abidjan. Liberians in Abidjan, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Lami Famula is here. Thank you, Lami. I see your name quite frequently here. Thank you for always being here. Catherine Flomo is here. I always like to see women participating, watching, involved in the conversation. So women of Liberia, even though the census say you're not planting more than men in our country, but we know difference. So thank you for being here, and you got a role to play in making Liberia a better place. So Nakata Yima, thank you for watching us from Romania. I'm sorry, did I hear a noise? Oh, Okay, I'll go ahead. Um, Ohaji Page is here. Thank you, Ohaji, for being here. King Leo is also here. Vincent Thomas is here from Banjo, Bravo, Morovia, Banjo. If you're in Banjo, please join us. Kali Later is here. Kali, hello, how are you? Yumuntro Kangra, Miss Kangra, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Vida Peabody is here from New York City. Vida, thank you for joining us. Alex Robinson is here from Australia. We got Australia. We got Aricos. Oh my goodness. We have from Charlotte, Ansu Salif is here from Charlotte. He's joining us. George V. Kroma is from Caldwell. Caldwell is here. Monrovia is here in the house. Kipman is in the house. Laura Doe is here from Dover, Delaware, USA. Thank you for joining us. Kamar Dolet Lee Massey is here from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Thank you for joining us from Atlantic City. Abraham Sano is here from the UK. Abraham Sano is from the UK. So we have the UK, we have Morovia, we got Australia. We thank you for joining us. We are traveling vicariously through you. Prince Jokolo is also from Jacobtown, St. Francis, wherever that is. Kalindo K. Forgive me, your last name. Kalinda, I know you're from Canada. I can't say your last name right now. It's a tongue twister for me right now. So thank you for joining us. Clement Walker B. Dual, thank you for joining us. I'm going to stop here. I know there's many of you all around the world that you are watching Spoon. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I don't want Aaron to go and gossip about me because he sends a text to Miss TT and say, "Oh, Dr. Richardson want to say hello to everybody before we stop." Then Mr. Falcon will come and say she's got to say hello to all her cousin and brother there in the world. So I got Aaron, you're talking about me. I got a text there. Don't worry. So let me the people want me to talk about Liberian people asking that be so. Aaron, that's okay. I'm just joking. I'm going to welcome all of you to your radio station, the radio station that was developed to discuss Liberian issues during this time slot, right when you're about to relax, rest, you finish doing all your Saturday work. I almost take out daytime. I would rush to be here because I won't finish doing our Saturday work yet. So I want to thank you. But there were some training issues before we really go into the show today. I'm expecting Jake Brown to come. I was told that he was coming here today. I'm also expecting us to talk about the endorsement of George Weah. And then we're going to go to the phone lines today. Liberian people will talk to us. I really want them to talk about their rights and responsibility for making Liberia a better place. What are they doing? We come here all the time. We talk about, oh, the government should have done this, the opposition that have done this, Do they want to hear from you, Liberians? What are you doing in your community? Do you know where your voting registration center is going to be? Are you looking out for it? Are you speaking to people about the plans to make Liberia a better place? Those are the kind of things I would like to know more about you today. To actually speaking about Simeon Taylor. No, I'm sorry, not Simeon Taylor. Simeon Freeman. Oh gosh, how would I make that mistake? Simeon Freeman. He is in the news. Simeon is going to be here on Monday. All right. If all goes well, he's be here on Monday. He will talk more to us. He will talk to us more about his lawsuit. So you guys, a couple of things are in the news. I want to just get maybe about 30 seconds your thoughts. James and Aaron told us that Simeon Freeman filed a lawsuit, a writ of mandamus, and this is actually against the government. So somebody is doing something about making Liberia a better place. He's not just sitting down. So I want to hear from you, Mr. Worsley. What are you thinking? So this lawsuit is compelling the government to use the ombudsman position, the ombudsman's position.
Ombudsman.
Yes, ombudsman position that they created, because apparently they're not using it. They're not using the middleman that is supposed to answer complaints about the government. And then he also filed another lawsuit about the budget. He's saying that the pro tem and certain people higher ups in the legislature, they are getting more money for a poor country like Liberia. So, and that was one thing that they told us. Mr. Cummings was actually in District 10. You can share your thoughts about that as well. Mr. Cummings, we're seeing him work through the country, going through Liberia. No matter how many people that they think that He has numbers told somewhere that will not change, but we see that he's one of the hardest working politicians in our country right now. And then there was also issue about the PRO, the Public Relations Officer, that he suspended. And then also, of course, James told us that Koji is also mad at the guy who considered himself the security officer. Koji is mad at him. So all of this to me is reaction as opposed to proactiveness. Give me your thoughts on this. Was there any comments? And then we're going to go to Fadiga, and then we'll go to Gray, and then we'll go to Good Day.
Well, firstly, let me start with the last one, the one I got to do with the suspension of the MCC Public Relations Officer. I've been around for a while, and I work with some of them. And there are a few public relations officers who feel very powerful in the country because of the influence of their bosses or those who appointed them. And one of the public relations officers who feel that way is the one at the MCC. He's a young man, and from a professional background, one would even say, oh, he's not even of age, and he does not have the requisite experience to coordinate communications at the Monrovia City Corporations. I listened to his presentation the other day, and I knew from the get-go that he was running straight into big problem, because the introductory remarks were totally out of the blue sky. They were clear products of lack of sufficient information to lay the basis for a serious debate. And so I think the action on the part of the MCC administration is just a tactical reaction to the media outcry and all the kinds of stuff. But they need to take more rigorous administrative actions that could easily send a clear message to all unprofessional individuals, people who think that a serious national matter is it should just be treated anyhow. So I will stop on that one, since the fact that we have long time to discuss a lot of the issues, and then go to the one I got to do with the MPP chairman suspension. I think I don't know what may have predicated the suspension of the chairman in details, but the fact that at this time, the national chairman of one of the constituent political parties, or one of the parties that's supposed to be a constituent member of the coalition, is been suspended by his colleagues, I think is not helping the situation. I'm talking about the relationship within the coalition in our party. Is not helping the situation. At this point, every tactical action should be taken in an effort to ensure the adequate synchronization of interest, because the national chairman will not just get out of the blue sky and say he won't affix his signature to the coalition document, a document that he himself helped to lay the basis for years ago, that resulted into the CDC-led government victory in 2017. And the 2023 elections is not going to be a small elections. We all know that. And I don't see any party in Liberia, including our party, to just say, oh, we'll win first round, because a lot of things has happened from 2017 to now, and there are a lot of variables that have interplay in the process, which is an undebatable fact. And so, any side that will synchronize interest more, collaborate more, will definitely win the elections. So my advice is for, the MPP to go back and fix the matter very well, and then if they want to still, be a member of the coalition, since they got the vice presidency, they should put their house to order very well, instead of trying to put our people in such a way that will cause more disunity. And the other one I got to do with Honorable Cummings, I think it's a good news for all ANC members and for his ambition, for him to continue to reach out to the vast majority of the Liberian population. You know, I disagree in principle with people who say, oh, this candidate got 7% last election. That means 7% is his portion. No, only a coward would think that way, and somebody who is intellectually compromised. Darius DeLong, who defeated us on 2 occasions, lost the elections many years back. He got badly flogged, and later on, the people who flogged him politically got badly defeated, and he defeated us. In the middle of the campaign, I know what we did. How many people we mobilized, and we were surprised when the figures came out. And then we started claiming, that our partisans were the one who voted for him, and he had to come out to debunk us. So variables could change anytime. So for us in power, that's why you see some of us agreed to sit on this platform. Now, it's about flagging issues sincerely. I sit here and critique some of the issues. People who try to bring our government to public disrepute, we critique them, we advise them, because we do not want to go to the ballot box and get the kind of result we got from the elections with Darius DeLong during the senatorial by-elections. So that's why we're sitting here. A lot of people, some of my fellow partisans have been inboxing me and saying all kinds of stuff. A lot of them don't understand. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Yes.
So if we still want to remain in power, those people who are misbehaving, doing things contrary to our party's platform, it's important for us to caution them, because we do not have 100% right to Liberia like for us. So we should understand that we are going to compete. So if we should compete and secure the interest and the trust and the support of the Liberian people, we should put ourselves in order and make sure that we act appropriately, because there are many, many people who are academically more qualified than some of us, who have got influence internationally and even locally, and they could do better if we act sluggish and it slips out of our hands. And that's why some of us sit here and look at the national interest holistically, instead of on the basis of tribe, religion, or partisanship.
Thank you, Mr. Worsley. Synchronization of interest. If you're copying his words to Google it later, that synchronization of interest should be one of your words for today. Thank you, Mr. Worsley. Fadiga, there was a myriad of topics today that James and Eric brought up. We are just warming up a little bit before the show start. You can speak about all three briefly, or select anyone that touches your heart today. Fadiga, be on mute yourself.
You are still muted. Okay. I think he has to come back.
Okay. Until he comes back, Colonel Gray, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Well, I'm okay. At least I'm coming to you from the comfort of my studio, and so everything should be up and running.
Yes, it is.
Good day, Flomo. Good day, Madam Richardson, and of course, Mr. Woolsey. How are you? I think there's a psychological warfare going on in our political landscape, where people tend to use some, they tend to belittle you, hoping that would diminish your ego to become, or your strength to compete. Unfortunately, somebody like Alex Cummings is somebody who cannot waver in spite of every challenge he faces. He has demonstrated that either in his endeavor as a global outreach individual for a major Fortune 100 companies, ambassadoring on behalf of an organization to go worldwide is a big task, and he stepped up to that challenge. How much more covering 42,000 square mile landscape, which is the Republic of Liberia. He's doing what he knows how to do best, and he's not a Monrovia-based politician. We can see that he has reached
down to some of the remotest parts of our country. As a result, this guy has enough resources in his body to reach out. When people are talking about 7%, they're using that as a psychological means to believe that that is his number. If you talk about three major politicians every day, you put Mr. Cummings' name in there, definitely that doesn't sound like an insignificant person with 7%. You're only telling us that he has some level of oomph that you need to consider. This is why he becomes part of your daily household politics. So as a result, how can you think that he's going to be still at 7%? And I like the idea that he's reaching out. This is a brutal competition. It's going to be fierce. I feel for those who don't have the strength and the ability to reach out. But if you want to lead our people, they must begin to feel and see you. If they can't, if you believe that they have the imagination to imagine you when they walk into that ballot box, good luck. With regards to Koji, I see a flex of power, somebody who probably is very acute at sensing any power struggle or someone creating parallel power that would challenge his authority. When you look at the public affairs guy, this is somebody who's supposed to be taking cue from his boss. Maybe he's becoming equally powerful in that sense, fear and shock. But in the same token, I believe that what we do here is having a greater effect on the functionary or the way those organizations function now in Liberia. We are the power broker. We are the balance of power, so to speak. When we speak, they act. When they act, we critique. They react. So as a result, my own urge here is that we continue to do what we do, because we have become the limelight and actually the policeman of our government today. So I have no regret to be part of this forum. Government needs this kind of criticism to be on their tail. With regards to NPP, I think it demonstrates just what is going on in the inner circle of the very coalition of the CDC. Mr. Weir continues to find ways to arm twist people to continue that good faith agreement they had, which he had violated on several fronts. So as a result, people don't feel obligated anymore. The once energy they came into that coalition with has been shattered by the 6-year performance of Mr. Weir, where either his performance generally in the compartment of his job, or probably even the ability to share the bounty among those who made it possible for him to become president. Politics is interest. Let me end on this note. Politics is interest. If somebody gave you their support and you don't deliver, they're not obligated to be with you anymore. I think Barney, or the head of the NPP, they're serious when they don't want to form part of that coalition anymore. If the party chair is the reason why they will pretend that there is still a coalition between them, then probably this is why they're taking bigger measures. Well, I like the move anyway.
Thank you, Colonel Gray. Mr. Fadiga.
Man, I don't know. Somehow, I think somebody mysteriously hacked into my system. I would say. But yeah, I listened to all you guys. I don't know where to start from. We got so many things. Let me just jump with the NPP stuff first, since it's still fresh on my mind. Senator James Barney, what we are seeing is almost like what Remy said. One of the biggest problem with this administration is reneging on any agreement. And we saw that come with Senator Prince Johnson. What they are experiencing right now, these are people that they went into an agreement with that they did not honor, And these people want their payment up front. They have to go back to the negotiation table. We saw Jewel Howard Taylor from the MPP. She was marching on last for long. I think the president called a speech for her. We saw she's been sidelined for many minutes. And then, poop, out of the blue, she's in the limelight again. She's back on board. And we see that she has a serious influence in the party. And, of course, they are the party in power. They have cash. You know, one of the things I always say is when most Liberian politicians get hungry, the first thing they eat is their integrity. They will sell it for little or nothing. So we're seeing cash changing hands, people being persuaded on the other side. So I think Senator James Banion is saying we're not having it. I mean, we gave these guys 6 years. The bounty that we got from the merger, they did not share it. They are mean. And a lot of people complain about the CDC. You see, in anything you do, be honest, be fair. Even if it's a crooked deal. Ellen was very good at that. Even Senator Prince Johnson said it. If she have an agreement with you, she will honor it all to the end. We saw that with the CDC, like the people that Sam Wozie, like I said, 2017, he met me at the airport, and all these guys, everybody was struggling. Saying, "Man, you guys need to come on board." You know, I thought I was going to Liberia, and a lot of the guys early on today, I was looking in my archive, and I was seeing videos and photos. I think Sam Wozie came out in my archive about 5 different times. I was looking at picture and video. I look at YouTube if I go. I started to laugh. I will share some way we got, and I'm like, what happened to all the guys just in 5 years? People are crying. So they sideline dress red dress until we see a new team. So these guys are not having it. Prince Johnson is not having it. He's talking. He won his $7 million upfront. He won this upfront. So this is the problem that the CDC administration is having. That people just do not trust him. This could also hurt them too when it comes second round, and that's why they are doing everything to go first round, because second round, I mean, if you cannot honor your agreement in the first round, imagine people giving you another train for 6 years. What will you do? You're just gonna kick them to the curb and you know what? I don't care. So a lot of the guys, they want whatever they can get up front. They are not taking that promise, anything. So we're gonna see how that play out. The next one is Cummings. Mr. Cummings, people say 7%. Look, we saw a man that barely got 300 votes in the name of Darius Dillon. Darius Dillon, the last election was not his first rodeo. He tried, I think, 1 or 2 times, and he was defeated massively. And then we saw the same Darius Dillon win by almost 100,000 votes. That was historic in Liberia. Going again, the CDC missionaries, we're talking about cash. And honestly, Thomas Fowler was not a bad candidate. If anybody thought that Thomas Fowler was a bad candidate, no. But Darius Dillon win, it just shows what can happen if people come together. It shows that in union, success is sure. And when there was unity within the CPP, there was streaks of win. And one group of people, for whatever reason, they thought they would destroy it. And this is part of the problem we're having. So I see Mr. Cummings reaching out there, forming new alliance. If you think that the 400,000 vote you had 5 years ago is just sitting there in the bag waiting for you, keep waiting. If you think Cummings has 7% and that 7% just going to be sitting there waiting for you, then keep dreaming, because the numbers going to show that people do shift. In Liberia, we have a proliferation of political institutions. When you have more than 20 to choose for, everybody have almost the same platform, definitely they will go to where they feel more comfortable with. I think the people have seen what the CDC can do. There's no way to say, oh, I will build you schools or pro-poor agenda. They know what the pro-poor agenda is. It means that it is anything pro-poor, is anti-poor. Actually, we have seen that our people have become more poorer in the last 7 years. So you cannot come back again with a pro-poor agenda. They will come out with different strategy. Whatever it is, building makeshift things here and there, hiring a scatter a priority around here. We'll see how that play out for them. But you cannot come back to the people and bring that kind of argument with them. So they know what the UP have done. They know what the CDC have done. So when you see people like Tiawan Gonglo and Cummings and all these new people that are new on the field, that have not been tested, at least they get that benefit of the doubt that, hey, put me there. I can do better. You see what the other guy did? UP had 12 years. You see what they did? CDC just messed up. Well, I can see they messed up because I'm about to be talking about some of the messed up with the Koji's incidents too. But so you see all those things happening. People, no, it's not Asian time. It's not two-week party time. This is UP, CDC. We know what it can do. So I think Cummings is doing a good thing. I think he's a little bit slow. I don't rather see the ANC. I'm more for opposition unity. I'm more for the seat. You won't see me, I'm more for people coming together. I think the CPP was a fine thing. I think they should keep going on. I think the ANC should fall in the back. I will just throw that out there. The ANC should fall in the back and give chance to the CPP to rise and see what it can do for Liberia. Jefferson Koji, firing this guy, I don't know. Like I said, with the whole case, honestly, and this, I'm very sincere. This is my honest opinion. When I listen to Councillor Verdier, in all honesty, and I'm on the platform to be very honest, there were so many allegations that I personally, they sounded to me like spider story. It won't pass the notice. There are several allegations that Councillor Verdier made that I cringe.
Yes.
I did not believe. Honestly, off the bat, just
you
as
said that here too, Father God.
yeah, yeah. There are certain things that I heard that I just didn't believe, just off the back. But then came this press conference, this bizarre press conference that just made it all just, well, no, because then look at this press conference. These are people that just look like they're guilty in their faces. They all look suspicious. I don't know. I don't understand this. And like I said, sometimes I know they got incompetence, and I don't think they are far. Well, let me let the video play, and then we'll see. And now we're good. You see, so sometimes you don't know which one is at play, whether it's incompetence or what they are the perpetrator. But I say, even anybody that watched that video, they just look guilty. I'm still wondering what would be Mayor Koji motive of wanting to harm that girl. I know this is a silly season. People throw all things out in there. I really want to know the motive. I don't want. I may not like the government. I may not like some of the things that they are doing, but I also don't want to be the one to just throw out bad news, just because we want to it make political sense. So I still cannot find that connection. I listened to the councillor yesterday, and I have something. I'll save that for now. But that is what happened. But so if you're firing this guy, the first thing is, how did he get there? When you have a team of incompetent people, that was a very amateur move. Had they had experienced people down there, well, if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. You lawyering up, trying to make this thing look like something, well, giving 5,000. How what is a city mayor doing with $5,000 that he can give her? It just shows. In Liberia, can you imagine that? Jefferson, 6 years ago, I saw Jefferson Koji because I hosted in my studio before, in Brooklyn Center there. I know Jefferson Koji when you were coming up, and I followed the story. Jefferson Koji 6 years later is offering $5,000. I mean, it may seem nothing because they are in government, but I'm telling you, $5,000 for some of us that even work here and make some money, $5,000, I cannot afford it. I cannot afford 2,000, even 1,000 set against, no, 1,000 planet, 500, even $100 set sometimes will be high. And this man showing you $5,000. Where are they getting this money from? All these things will just make you like, huh? If your man can give you 5,000, more there. Plenty there. If I can give you 5,000, plenty there. So that means it just shows with the corruption and it just confirms some of the things that we've been having and some of the problems that we're having. And that's another amateur move. Why are you throwing on 5,000 for? That would not make you less suspicious. And, going out there and posturing. So firing this guy is just nothing. Just fire the whole thing. Because the whole thing is a cabal of incompetence.
Thank you. Thank you. Good day.
All right. He was not fired but suspended. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah,
suspended.
yeah. Let me begin with the ANC. Most often I listen to people saying Cummins managed an institution of over 1 billion, 10 billion, or whatever. And it was it was not only Mr. Cummins who managed that institution by himself. It was a corporate organization, or the organization he managed is a corporate institution. That is, you have structure, and they were working together. They have collaboration. Then let's bring the corporate leadership he had with collaboration to what he wants to manage. That is the country by himself. Can Cummins single-handedly win the Liberian presidency and become president of Liberia? Absolutely no. You go up, you come down, you like it or not, Cummins or Boakai single-handedly cannot win the Liberian presidency. If they just make a mistake and go to this election, they both of them go to this election individually, I'm sorry, tighten your belt. President Weah is there for 12 consecutive years. You don't have to agree with it. You can live with it. The self-glorification of people believed to be supporters of Cummins, they are killing Cummins gradually. And before Cummins gets to know he's going to be dead politically completely, even before October 10th. You see these people every day, every night, they will wake up and say, Mr. Cummins is moving here and there. Hey, Cummins had one of the largest party launch event in Liberia at the at the ATS. Cummins population, we who watch it, we who cover it, we thought Cummins were going to come at least first or second during the 2017 election, the presidential election. The entire SKD was locked down, including its surrounding. I'm talking about the executive marshal, friend, executive marshal, and Buze Quarter. We're talking about Central, the Miro, encroaching on the ATS. That entire surrounding was locked down by Mr. Cummins. And Monrovia went, I don't know his color rare or what, Monrovia went his way. Then we went to Boakai. Boakai did the same. President Weah did the same. But what happened at the end of the day? We saw President Weah, then Senator, and Boakai coming number one and number two. At the end of the day, Mr. Weah won the presidency and he's currently the president of Liberia. Since then, can anybody point to any event or gathering that Mr. Cummins has really pulled that presidential crowd? Some will argue that it is not electoral time. They are not running campaign. Yes, they are not running campaign, but you have following. When you appear somewhere, when you organize events, people should show up. Have Cummins been able to manage that startup we saw at the summit? I'm sorry, at the ATS? No. Cummins is still struggling to get that number. Yes, Cummins has been very active. Cummins brought different dimensions to Liberian politics. Before Cummins, right after elections, politicians would sit back. The presidential candidates, they will sit back and wait for maybe 2-3 months or maybe 6 months or 1 year before they come back to start running. But right after 2017, Mr. Cummins has continued his movement, engaging the people. That is another way that you can keep your base stronger. But it is not resulting to anything. We're not seeing any difference. We are not seeing a difference. We are not seeing that popular Cummins. I was in Liberia one time. Cummins visited Ganta. Practically the entire place was empty. Cummins had to be running to people. In Liberia, we would say busting their blow, running to people, shaking their hands. In the market, when he went in the market, even Mr. Boakai, when Mr. Boakai gets to Ganta, the crowd that can come out to meet Boakai is larger than Cummings. I don't want to talk about the president. I don't want to talk about him. Some will say he's the president. Everyone will come out to see the president. Even if I were there, I will come out because it is a privilege to see a president. But this self-glorification of people believed to be Cummings supporters, that they believe Cummings can win. Cummings can be Liberia president by himself. He went to Coca-Cola, he worked there. Cummings has CEOs. He has COO that he was working with. He had managers. He had deputy managers who were reporting to him. And every decision that Cummings took, it was not agreed upon by himself. But Cummings is not going to be running a country where everyone will look up to him for the final decision. So I think the opposition, if they fail to come together, I'm sorry, Liberia is going to live with President Weah for 12 years. We saw what happened in Nigeria. The two opposition leaders, they got about 13 million votes. And the winner of the Nigerian election got 8.9 or 8-point-something million. So if they were going to come together, what was going to happen? They were going to beat the ruling party. So if Cummings and Barker fail to come together, I'm sorry, you will live with your self-glorification for 12 years and then come back. Let's move to MCC. Yes, Pekere, I don't want to agree with Mr. Wozi that he's not experienced. Pekere is one of the most, brilliant Liberian journalists. Yeah, even when I was getting into the media, I really used to admire Pekere. And if you get to Liberia today, you talk about Pekere in terms of the journalism profession, no journalists in Liberia. I'm talking about veterans who will not tell you more about Pekere. But that press conference, these things happen. He was trying to, protect his institution, but the protection of his institution led him into another mess. And as a journalist, to come from the journalism profession and become a PR, it is difficult because you were taught to say the truth. But in PR, you are there to protect your institution. You are there to paint the image of your institution for the public to go by what you're going to tell them. But in journalism, I'm not here to come pretend about it. The thing I see, I will tell you, you're not like it, don't speak to me. When you get ready, you will speak to me. So I think his emotion led him to where he is today. And I hope at the end of the day, they will bring him back and he will learn something from that. He called me today. He said, "Oh, I'm now suspended. In fact, I fake news. And my boss did not suspend me, but my boss is angry with me. That is why I'm not around here." I told him, "Okay, you're not around here." But since the event, the city mayor has organized 2 media events, and you were not around. He said, "Oh, my boss has problem with me. That is the only reason why I'm not there." So he believes that he's now suspended, but the corporation is saying he's suspended. He also told me that he will return to work on Monday. So I'm going to be at the city hall on Monday to see whether he will go to work, and then we will talk about that. So the NPP, yeah, that's their party issue. I know those who, I am here to investigate it, but I believe, and this is just my opinion, that those who suspended the party chair, you check out about 60 or 70% of them will be in the line of the vice president. There has always been this separation, this power struggle within the within the NPP, where you have the Bani faction and the vice president. So we hope to see, and we hope to also hear from. We also hope to hear from Mr. Biden, Senator Biden, rather. Yeah, so far so good.
Something is ringing. Okay, I'm sorry. I was hearing a phone ringing. Okay, good day. Thank you for your comments, and I want to thank all of the panelists for their comments. I have just a few points to make. It appears that we had to reschedule our guests. So at this moment, it's really late for him to come on in. At 5 o'clock, we'll go to the phone lines. But a lot of people have limited understanding of what a corporation is. Okay, especially when you're are accustomed to reading about, or even if you have worked in a corporation. Corporations do not run themselves as, it is implied that, oh, only Mr. Cummings, he was the head of the corporation, so he ran the corporation. Similarly to a government, a corporation has lieutenants, they have responsibilities. Mr. Cummings, should he be the president of Liberia, will have the whole executive branch as his lieutenants, as his deputy members. So it's not just Mr. Cummings just ran CEO, so the system of a government is different. Government and corporation are systems. Systems do not run themselves. They need leaders to do that. And I think we are so accustomed to our country being such a imperial type presidency function. It is not designed by that by constitution. Okay, that's why we have an executive branch. That's why we have the judicial branch, and that's why we have the legislature, a check and balance system. So when we get into the system of knowing, oh, Mr. Cummings just he will not going to be one person who will just run the country. If he does that, we should all criticize and yell, because this is the kind of dictatorship that we see our country going into. So I wanted to just make that comment. So we should understand the nature of how a corporation or an institution that is in a developing country, how it works. We need to ask what we should be asking, what were his contributions, when he worked at Coca-Cola, and I'm sure many of you have read and you can answer it. We should be asking, what is his business knowledge, his business sense? What does he have to offer to the country that we love so much, Liberia? What are his plans? Those are the questions that we should be asking. And so I just want to make sure that people understand there are interrelationship between the workings of a government and the workings of a corporation that I think we really miss that so badly when I hear people explaining that. Running a corporation, sometimes for me, it's even tougher than running a government. Okay?
Yeah,
because keep in mind, people who are running a corporation, you have responsibility to the board. You are profit making. You could be fired. Government has a lot of procedures, protocol, okay, a lot of things in place that sometimes you can maintain your job, like as we are seeing right now in the Monrovia City Corporation, where somebody can say, oh, my boss don't want me to come around because they don't like the job that I do. In a corporation, if you make such a major mistake like that, in fact, there shouldn't be any reactive behavior going on. You should be proactive all the time, because the bottom line is about money. All right. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to talk about the self-glorification. I think to say all Cummings supporters are self-glorification persons, I think that's a grave generalization. I think maybe perhaps you don't know. I think Cummings supporters, like most political party supporters, they come in different form, shape. So I think they say, oh, they are self-glorification type people, and they think Mr. Cummings can run the country by himself. I don't believe that at all. I think we come in different shape and forms. I support Mr. Cummings, is no joke about it. And I like what Warsi said about the numbers. The numbers will change. The numbers will change. But if we continue to sit on this platform and say, well, George Weah will win because the oppositions do not want to get together, then I think we don't want a change in our country, because Liberians need to take the responsibility. They need to reunite despite looking for a savior in opposition. Okay, the Liberians themselves need to want change. They want to, if they rise up and want change and look at the candidates individually, then I think we'll be talking and we'll be going somewhere.
And Dr. Richardson, let me just quickly struck a point, and I didn't say Pakler is not a spirit. I said one would think. So a good day. I said you want me to speak Loma. I said who, meaning is
speak Loma, please.
Yeah. I know I spoke Loma to you already. Okay, but the other thing is, I'd like for us to drop back a little bit on the issue of the opposition coming together as the only way to go forward. Look, let me tell you something. I think politics is not too good for me, because the way people say things all of the blank sky, as a student of numbers, I find it difficult to just speak We got something in statistics we call dumbing statistics. Like you just compile a lot of figures, you just guess. And we got another one called optimism biasness. Sometimes you get optimistically biased, and then you think about numbers imaginarily and believe in them and try to use them. And most often, purposive sampling tend to undermine those kinds of compromised data analysis.
Amen.
No political party, I mean, including my party, we can't win first round. It's not possible. If that happens, that means the election will be worse than the Nigeria election. Let me tell you why. And I have told our people, that's the reason why some of us, we're saying it now, ahead of the elections. When you are a ruling party, there are a lot of factors that interplay. When you let down people, when people who support you feel that you use them and dump them, when you sign an agreement with political institutions and you let them down, like for example, you have LPDP, people there, Liberal People, Democratic Party of a former speaker, Ellis Jenica Tyler. There was a serious issue there because they got issue that what our mother party promised them, they didn't get it. They have qualified people. Now, you have National Patriotic Party. The vice presidential position was given to them. 98% of the people, they didn't get a job. Maybe only a few persons. I know personally, MPP executive members told me that. And, because I play middleman role. I control the Joint Propaganda Secretariat, so I know a lot of people from different structures. And so now you go into elections. A lot of these people are not happy. You sit down, you say, okay, some of the arrogant individuals who have not been home, but they are the one making decisions on who will win the coming elections, right? But they are in their own villages, like in Maryland, in Grand Crew, in Grand Jida, in other areas. The people don't even know them. They don't even know their fathers. So that means they are politically insignificant. Only thing they get, the only strength they have is that the person who is the figurehead, who is the standard bearer, knows them. That's the only relevance they got. When he take that connection from them, they're nothing. They will just be like Zogo passing around. Now, these people are the ones who are giving false information and creating wrong impression. But the masses of people who are the voters need to be reached out to, and those partners who serve as a fulcrum, as the strong foundation of the party that won 2017 elections, need to feelings need to be taken into consideration. So what, first of all, my party needs is a total recalibration. Total recalibration. That's the first part. How do we secure a second round victory if possible? You got to be able to settle down. I use the word synchronization of interest. It's very important. Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, I learned that terminology from her. We won meetings, and she will call people and opposition members and talk to them and try to charter a course of collaboration to see reason to work together. Now, when you take a dismissive posture, people who worked for you before, people who supported you, when you become dismissive towards them, that's a bad sign. Two things it means. One, that you are preparing to cheat. Two, that you are not prepared to compete. Three, that you either do not want to continue serving in the position that you are in. So there are three separate, what I call dual imperatives, that tri imperatives, right? Three things you must do. Anything outside that means you just jack it as Zogo is running away, and that usually leads to confusion in African countries. Because when you force your victory and think that you are the only man or woman on the ground, when you force your victory, that means you are prepared to cause serious chaos. The late President Doe did the same thing in Liberia, right? He did everything possible to plunge the country into confusion. You look at the 1985 elections, you look at the response to the 1983 invasion, and you come down to the years that follow, his encounter with journalists, quote unquote. So civil disorder, civil disobedience comes as a result of the sluggishness of the system managers and supervisors. So on the issue of the opposition, it's clear that if the Nibians decide to go one way, or the key stakeholder decide to go one way, they will definitely undermine the way, the numbers of the way that they supported before. And that is not a secret. So anybody who want to maintain power, what we need to do first of all is to reach out, put aside our pride, because we already got it. Put aside your pride, reach out tactically, try to remend the broken fence, give what you promise. Now, in politics, as in any other relationship, promise is a debt. You don't want to do Sicilian kind of stuff, what you call Sicilianism, you know, where you say, I'll give the thing. Just dress there. By the time the person you push them off the platform. It doesn't work like that in politics. You only sowed a seed of discord, or you only prepare the stage for people to fight back. Even if you become president, if you continue to reign, there will always be a problem. And sometimes bigger problems that you may probably not be able to control. But the opposition, you have Mr. Cummings on one side. I am not a Cummings supporter. You have Mr. Joseph Walker on another side. I'm not a United Party man. But there are a few issues.
Are you a Walker supporter?
No, I'm not.
Oh, no. And you said, because the way you answered the question, you said, I'm not a Cummings supporter, but then you said,
I'm not a Cummings supporter.
I think before he was a Walker supporter.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I thought you were in the United Party.
Okay, was he?
I'm not a Walker supporter. I give support to a party, not to an individual. But let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
Go ahead, Wesley.
All right. It is not a secret that United Party controls Lofa County. Look, I'm a Lofian, right? I've heard some of my fellow partisans saying they control Lofa, this and that. And then I feel sorry for the president, because some of the guys are in this proximity every day. I wish the president could send some NSA officer to ask for those guys from Lofa who said they got control of Lofa, to ask for their parents. Now, Lofa tradition is different. You know what thing what they're doing, that scheming thing they do around him, and then when you travel to move with him, people don't know them. They got no influence in Lofa. Look, it's a deep tradition-minded environment. You don't just go get booking you and running behind you, Lofa. Lofa not like other areas in like, bro, you just go play music, put that dance, they jump behind you. No. We have suggested on many occasions to build relationship instead of just running in there and try to use money. Except where you want to tamper with the numbers at the end of the day. You look at Nimba.
Okay, some of them now. What's the account? 2 more minutes.
Yeah, it is not a secret. Nimba County Godfather is Prince Johnson. That is not a secret. It's an undebatable fact. I was deployed in Nimba for about 14 days. Professor Wilson Tapper was stationed there for about a month. So I had gone there to give him a backup for 14 days. We visited populated zones where Prince Johnson is hailed as not just a hero, but a superhero. We need those numbers to start attacking that kind of individual. Then I need to wonder who then advancing our Senate bearer. Now, if you say, well, if you give him 1 million, you send me to Nimba.
I have to get to my other panelists.
Yeah, sorry, I will soon just land on this point. If you send me to Nimba to say go there and attack Prince Johnson and start giving people honor, and they honor you in Nimba, I would definitely tell you, no, you're wasting your time. So we got to be tactical here. So you cannot just rule out the possibility of the opposition showing some strength in the 2023 elections. It will be an unfair thing. It will be a big mistake, and we need to take note of some of these information that are coming out of some quarters.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to go back to you, Al Hussein Fadiga. Yes, your thoughts.
The thing is, I just want to let me piggyback on what Gote was saying. You see, one of the things I've noticed, in Liberia, and this is something that we do often. Liberia is a nation that can get one misinformation and it gets out there, and people do not check it; they just recycle it to the point that it becomes believable. The notion that corporate experience cannot something. I'm not, trying to be the spokesman for Cummings, but I want you to know that government and corporation have a lot of similarities. There are a lot of things they are similar in so many ways. The reason people kind of worry about corporate executive becoming president, the reason people the only downside to it is they become more structured, and sometimes they can be very stubborn in a way. They are not politicians. Politicians are more flexible. A politician can be something today and say, I will never do it and do it tomorrow. So most time in that direction, corporate executives tend to be more, but almost it's the same thing. They have board members, they have people that work with them. And even at that, as a chief executive officer for a corporation, you bring about decision that can either make the company grow or make it something. Helen Coca-Cola Africa, he did a lot of things that changed the dynamic on the ground. So I don't want us to discount that. And the reason why we elected this soccer legend, most people, it was under the pretense that, oh, he knew Messi, he knew this other person, he knew the person, and the goodies were going to come. And I'll kid you not, a lot of people believe it. 6 years later, we have not had any foreign direct investment. They have to keep borrowing. And as they borrow, I see something similar to what happened in Sri Lanka. They borrow for these pet projects. They carry on these vein projects. Vein projects that they do not do any need assessment. It's just people that want to quantify sources. That, you know what, it can confuse the people by putting things here and there, just scatter development all over. That's why they waited last minute time to the election before they carry on all the projects at one end. Sadly, they do not even have the funding to carry on most of those things. So when you carry on vein project, what is a vein project? These are things that you look at a company, you look at a country like Liberia right now. What do we need? What that young person in West Point need? What does the person on Broad Street need? The Yana boys, the Yana girls, what do they need? It's like you go and build the most beautiful market store in an area that people do not even have car to go there. When Man Kotati was selling right on Broad Street, people were coming to open it because but when you care in a remote area that the economy already going, so in the Man Kotati vest, she's not mystified by that fancy structure that you have there. No. Man Kotati want to be where she will have customer driving. It's like going and building a park. Yes, we need park. But this is how people do vein project. We do need parks. But we also need schools. We also need different things. We need hospitals. Our doctors need to be paid. So if you say, all right, I'll build a beautiful park and then say, I've never seen that one since 1847. And then you build a drainage, you say it's a swimming pool or something that is a safety hazard that the water inside, you know what, how it takes to recycle the water in that thing? That's a drainage. You wouldn't put your children in that. In fact, you will get crack. They call it Amwendu. They want the Amwendu. All those things there, and you go around the country just building things, here and there, so you can quantify success. You build homes. Yes, we need homes. But if you're not going to build home for every Liberian, why build homes? The people, it's like the city, you say, I will pay the wire fee. No Liberian have ever complained about paying that WhatsApp fee before. Our parents, even the ones that could not afford, they pay their children's school fee one way or the other. Our country is a country that we love socialism. People love it. And, any extra money we will take it. But is it something that is sustainable? Is this something that we can do? So I'm just giving you an example of some of the vein projects that people do not think about a good. You paying people's school fee when you can't even pay the teachers. We do not even have something. So that money could actually go in the school and people say, what government is not responsible to confer happiness on all citizens. The role of government is to create an environment that those with a requisite experience can strive. And this government is not creating that environment. That is why we are not having foreign direct investment. That is now why we're not having all those things in the last 6 years. So rather than doing nothing, they create. So when you say, oh, there's corporate experience, this and that, yes, a corporate executive can make a very good president. For a country like Liberia, what do we need from a president? One, with international exposure. Like Ellen or not, the reason we attracted 16 billion in foreign direct investment is because Ellen had the international connection. Those people that she brought in the country, they all came with their own connection. And for the first 6 years, She was able to get through that HIPIC agreement. She was able to waive our get her partners to waive that debt, and people were pouring in.
Yeah.
We are not seeing that happening with this administration because people don't trust them. I mean, you got Alvin Wisse, you got how they call the other girl or Josephine, how they call Josephine David. I mean, these are locals. I'm not discounting them. They're saying it as a mean to disparage them. But what international connection do these people have? Jefferson Koji can go to as many mayoral meetings and something internationally. But what is his connection? You got all these locals, people that at least you could have sent out of the country to at least gain some exposure in your first term and then bring them back later the white Ellen did. You put them in government. You reward partisans. And then you expect people to come? How can someone that nobody knows, doesn't have any kind of international connection, go sit out there and negotiate for a country and say, you know what, I know Jefferson Kochi because he can speak kissy English or something. You will come there and will bring.
So, Father God, please, I beg you to say
no. So, and then something. That's the problem. So, when you say that, and people have been recycling the thing, no, it's a wrong thing. Coming has some problem. And the problem here is, unlike the Boyka and people that are still long in Liberia, look, Cummings, people still believe that he's foreigner because people have classified him that way. Cummings has tried. Ellen was the same. Ellen won. Ellen, despite her name, I voted 1997. You know the song we sang for Ellen? The Oma walking circle now way, yeah. The Oma, and we made fun out of her. That the song was singing for Ellen in the street of Monrovia. Nobody cared about her. Few years later, Ellen went on to mobilize, mobilize the Liberian women, get a lot of people together, and she won. It shows that politics is not static; it's very dynamic. Yes. If you were able to do the work, you were something. We saw the CPP swept something. We had a unique thing going on. Some group of people decided to destroy it. Yeah. And like you say, it's not mandatory, it's not forced that these people come together. If they choose not to come together, the election will eventually go to second round. Mm-hmm. Those who can mobilize and who come something like Musa Belite and all the other guys say, let them agree that if we go to the second round, we will support whoever is there. The opposition did it before. They did it against the Unity Party. And then you say another thing again about Boyka, the numbers. Look, there is the incumbency comes with certain number. If you had an incumbent president, look, we have a country that almost 60 to 80% of the population feed off the government. Unlike other economy that there are people striving and something. I'll give you one example. I won't take too much. I'll give you two more. Yeah, I'll give you. I was in Conakry when they had a coup d'etat. Those guys took over Alpha Condé. They took over the government. The same day they did the coup d'etat, I had just flew in on Air France that day. I went to the Sheraton, was sleeping in, we heard that thing. The next morning, I kid you not, the people were in the market. Nobody cared. Nobody running after anybody. Those guys did the thing in there. And the reason why is, here's a country that almost 30 to 50% of the people, they are entrepreneurial. They don't care about government. The Guinean, few people, you see the Fulani people, they ain't talking about politics. They don't care. Mm-hmm. There are people, I can tell you, they got over 1,000 millionaires in Guinea that have assets in millions. Right locally, the only men bring a store, they're doing the same thing. These people do not care. In Liberia, show me one Liberian that doesn't have a success that is tied to government. So when you have a payroll that is bloated and people there that are beholden to the government.
Okay, I want to go to Conakry. I think you made a good point, and I want to emphasize that again. Is when you are a leader of a corporation, just like I expect a leader of a government to do, you do a needs analysis.
Yeah.
And what corporations they are constantly doing, they're constantly assessing, okay? Because a corporation, their bottom line is the money, and that's a good skill to have when you're moving on and you transition into a government, especially a country like ours, because there's a lot of things that we need to fix in our country, and you need
Yeah.
to be after the bottom line. You need to be able to, like you said, do I need a park here or do I need a school here? You know, and that's what the skill of a corporate or a good leader will be looking at. You know,
Dr. Richardson, can I say just 3 minutes to say one thing? We always like to take the easy way out. We look, the reason we keep settling for less is because, look, if the right person will lose, let them lose. If we keep saying, you know, the lesser evil, look, the lesser evil has gotten all year and we keep getting all year. Let us fight. Let us fight and get the right people there. Even if it will cost our arm and a leg, let us do it.
Okay, Father God. Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, like you said, a corporation, a government, it's not static, you know. It's very dynamic. It changes. You have to look at the context, and that's what a leader does. You don't just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expect to get, like Mr. Cummings said, a good result. When you put a incumbent who's been used to doing the same thing over and over, and we see where our country has never gotten to any place, it has not made no improvement has happened or is happening at a slow pace. This is where we have to ask ourselves, what leadership skills are we using? Okay, what have we done wrong? And kind of great, I'd like you to chime in before we go to our phone line because we wanted to speak to the Liberian people today.
You know, there's this distortion that certain politicians have revolving individuals around them who are polluting his mentality or her mentality. And Cummings is peculiar with Cummings. Most people will say people around Cummings are limiting his chances, destroying his ability to even think. No exception, Gude just said it. But I wanted to say, firstly, Cummings was head of Coca-Cola in a certain way. He was CIO, Chief International Officer. What are your responsibilities? You scout for new markets. You expand the bottom line of the company. The asset holding, your responsibility is to make sure you stretched it to the extent where the company profit in certain ways. Liberia don't have asset managers, even at the presidential level or the various branches of government. What we need is somebody who can effectively manage what we have. Our problem is management. We have the resources, but we don't have people who can effectively manage them like the Kagame of the world. Now, when a man with a corporate mentality comes in, someone who was, a corporation is like, I don't know if Gude and others watch American football. Every wing of the football, the team is vital. They have offensive, defensive coordinators. They have the head coach. The head coach feeds from these resources on the side. If a defensive coordinator, if a team does not win, they might fire a defensive coordinator if the defense was poor. When you come with the belief that, corporation got structure, people manage structure and they expect result from those individuals. If you're the weaker link to the team, you are gone. Coca-Cola asset, I continue to say, before Mr. Cummings took over, it was way down, maybe double digit 70, but now it is 390 billion. He left it at 300 and I've been 60, now 70. I got to look at the number. It did not come because there was a structure there. They just put you there like an image or a statue. You just stand there. Whether or not you perform, the company will survive. That is not how it works. That is the mentality we have for government. This is why our government is static. It's just stable. It's not moving because we believe that this person's strength does not matter. Their health does not matter. Their ability to think fastly, quickly does not matter. All they need, we just need to have an individual there. The rest of the individual around them will perform. That is not how growth works. Good to great, if you can glance on that book, good to great is where all aspect of the body is working. If you're here hurting you, my brother, for the rest of your body to function, I will question you how. because it takes one to make you go down. And that is why every aspect of a corporation works. And that mentality you bring to the government, Mr. Cummings will not say the MCC is not my problem. It will go and see why the MCC should function the way it's supposed to function, in line with the expectation of the people. Police the same way. That's the same way. I'm not only aligning that with Cummings, but I'm only saying that when you have somebody who comes from that structure coming into government, everybody will be working. Otherwise, this is why some leader can go check in the office 7 o'clock in the morning while the other guy is in Jamaica Resort, having a siesta there, 2 o'clock, somebody doesn't show up for weeks in the office. That is not the kind of government we want to be running around here. Sorry, Wozie, you guys brought this on us, and we'll continue to box you to the extent where you have to accept that you've given us a mess, and it's taking us deeper and deeper into the ground. If we don't resuscitate that, just now, our country will have no country to be called our own. And definitely, this is the time to redeem Liberia, and I look forward to that.
Good. Thank you, Remy Gray.
Can I?
Yes, good day. You want to just say something, and then we're going to move on to the phone line?
Yeah, I want to comment. This is not about who like who or the other way. And people would not want sometimes to listen to what is okay, right? Sometimes everyone will not move with the train the same direction. We talk about corporate leadership and the presidency, or a leader of a country. Yes, they have similarity. We agreed. The board members, we have board members. We have the citizens are the one who will talk to them. But the last corporate president we saw in the world came from the United States. Today, let's go to America. Donald Trump was a businessman, a very successful businessman. He became president of America. Let's travel back to America and see what happened at the end of the day today. Let me ask those who are in America, can anybody tell me the American position regarding Donald Trump presidency?
I'll let you answer, but I have to answer it. But go ahead.
Let me tell you something. In as much as I hated that dude, honestly, our pocket was balling when Donald Trump was president. I can tell you that. I do not support the Republican, but when it comes to income, when it comes to money and distribution of wealth, honestly, Donald Trump's short presidency, look, he made some crazy talk that most of us didn't like. But when it comes to the economy and getting things done, honestly, a lot of things happen.
Okay.
Small businesses. So we did not like his politics. But there are so many good things that came out of the presidency as far as the economy, and it's all boiled down to belly issues. Why in it for your belly? And even in as much as we did not like his politics, we loved his economy.
All right.
I can tell you that. So it was not necessarily a bad thing. The politics was the negative side. But as far as what people benefited from the government, I can tell you a lot of people got money.
And I would like to say we need to be cautious about how we compare the United States and Liberia. To me, it's apples.
No, I'm not comparing the United States.
Well, even if we compare
Liberia,
even if we compare the leadership, like say, where is Donald Trump? And you saw that you had a corporate leader, and so what did he do in the United States? United States has a system. So even if Donald Trump was the worst corporate leader that we ever had, you know what we had to fall back on? Hundreds of years of check and balance system, okay? Where people in a democracy that worked, where people say, well, you know what? We don't like this man politics anymore. We don't like him denigrating immigrants. We don't like how he speaks to women. And we're going to rise up to make sure that he's not in position. Can I speak the same thing about Liberia? I think not.
Okay. So can I come in?
Yes.
My point here, talking about Donald Trump, yes, the American society is a unique society. Almost everything is intact. You get there, it's just about management, not like our country, Liberia. Like currently you get there, Liberia is almost like a failed state. anybody taking over Liberia is like you are restarting entire device. It's that you are restarting. You know, sometimes when you restart your phone, all of your applications, sometimes you're going to lose them and you have to reestablish everything. So that's how almost our country is like. Yes, we agree. But, you know, I don't want to make this like you know, going here and there. But Cummings is a good man. Cummings has a future. Cummings has a dream. But how can this dream be realized? Or how can we see this dream coming to fruition? Who are those that are helping to bring the dream to reality? The guys who are on the side helping to make this dream a reality are not doing well. And they just have to live with it or change. Changes come in many ways. Cummings getting to the presidency, African politics. Let's forget about globalization, right? Globalization is taking place, but let's specifically deal with Africa or West Africa, specifically Liberia, with emphasis on Liberia. Liberian politics or the government in Liberia, yes, we have the first branch is the legislature, we have the executive, we have the judiciary, but practically in Liberia, governments have been controlled by the executive. Practically in Liberia, but on the book, we should have 3 branches of government that will direct the government, the activities of the government. But the presidency or the executive is the central point of our country. Everyone look up to the presidency. The people who elect their representatives, even the representatives or the senators, they look up to the presidency. How can we bring, or how can we think about bringing a man to the presidency who is not willing to extend his branches to other people, who believes that he alone can get to where he wants to go? Which political actor in our country history that successfully won or successfully took over the affairs of Liberia?
What about the CPP?
Come again?
What about the CPP? We had a CPP.
What are we
We
talking
still
about?
have the CPP.
Do we really believe that we have a CPP?
But it was under
Well,
Mr. Cummings.
We have a divided party. We
And
have
the
a branch
CPP had
coming to
the
Who broke it up? Who
We
broke
still
it
believe
up?
that we have a CPP.
Well, it's still there. Who broke it up?
That is just a bluff. They are
Who broke it
bluffing.
up? You know one mistake you're making. I'll give you. Go back to 2017. 2017, when the election came down to George Weah and Joseph Boyka, something happened that a lot of you didn't pay attention to.
What's that?
When Bronskin went to court, I think I found the picture today. I was sharing it. When Bronskin went to court, and they went through all the rigmarole, it came down to one thing: should we support Boyka or support Weah? In as much as the opposition was against all those 4 guys, the 4 powerful political institutions, 4 or 5, went to court, those guys could not bring themselves to support Boyka or the Unity Party. There is a reason. In the last month since the Unity Party left the CPP, you don't see people flooding towards them. In the last couple of years, we have seen people try to come, and, you can call them names like Daniel Che, all the people that you can call them names, questionable character. We saw them flood to the CPP. Let me tell you something, one thing you need to know: who is capable of bringing people together? We saw a Unity Party that is still divided. We saw a man that people claim that he should be heading the ticket that still have not been able to unify the Unity Party, let alone bringing people. Let me tell you something. There is something that people are not checking here. People keep putting a mashup between Cummings and Boyka, but we have not really done a mashup between Boyka and Weah and Cummings and Weah. Since these are the 2 front runners, I can tell you the person that stands a chance to win the most is the person that can bring more people on board. We have not seen Boyka attracting more people. There is something that people, even people that stay long in government, come to the point to give their vote to Boyka. Bronskin didn't do it. Bronskin was very something. They just said that George Weah won because Everybody just said that nobody could publicly support Boycott.
Okay. Okay,
So
thank
can I
you.
conclude now?
Okay,
Yeah.
please conclude today, and then we gotta move on to Wazi and then Gray, and then we gotta go to the phone line. Please conclude.
All right. So like I was coming, right? Leaders are unified. So we still have certain portion of our society that believe that we have a CPP. Really? We have a political institution that got divided into two. One half is on the side, one half is on the side. And a man who wants to lead a country is running the affairs of one of the one half. The other man is running the affair or reportedly running the affairs of one half of that institution that got broken into two. And we still believe that these people with the separate mindsets of the both of them, they can go independently and win a soccer or a footballing president.
Yes.
Who has the support of some of the very people who are within those two institutions, who are crossing over day by day, or some will cross over at the end of the day. My point here is Cummings. If Cummings wants to be president, maybe this is just a way paver for him. He's just paving the way for 2029. Maybe, yeah, maybe this at the end of the day when we is unable to run for the presidency, when Boakai is incapacitated in 2029, maybe Cummings will be the lesser evil in our Liberian term, right? But at this moment, if we cannot recalibrate and talk about collective works, and that is bringing everyone under one umbrella to fight a footballing president, we will not, or you will not win the presidency of the country. Because
Judah, let me just tell you that one thing. Let me tell you this
you
one
keep
thing.
interrupting me now.
In politics, every day is a new thing. Somebody can fall down a day, something can happen tomorrow. I'm telling you, between now and October is very long. It's like a century.
Let James finish. Go to Mr. Wazi and we're going to come to Mr. Gray. So, James, can you please wrap it up? You are saying your last two comments, you got 1 second. I mean, you got 1 minute.
Okay. In Liberia, our politics as a whole is number. Politics is number. Even if you have the best ideas, if you don't have the number, you cannot win. And how can you get a number? By collectively working with the community, working with actors who are also into that space that you find yourself. If you come together collectively, you can win the presidency. But Mr. Cummings, with all of what he's doing, let's look at Cummings. What are some of the corporate establishments since Cummings left Coca-Cola that he has brought to?
James Kute, I don't think we should expect any private citizen in Liberia to
do what?
I don't think we should expect any private citizen,
to do what?
Private citizen to be responsible for creating corporations in Liberia. If that's
why,
which corporation they we are open before you became president?
Okay.
I'm coming now.
Today, but I got one more
minute. You guys keep interrupting me.
But you after you are just finished and the car.
No, I did not.
Okay, we got 1 minute.
Okay, we agree. We are playing all of the football in Europe. He did not establish any football institution or any institution in Liberia. Cummings and Boakai should be the difference. What are they doing? You know, we believe that before a man imparts or develop a nation, he or she needs to take the presidency or has to become a senator before they can do something. Cummings worked in corporate America. He went high. Maybe he became a third person or he became a fourth or whatever. Since Cummings returned to Liberia and he ran for the presidency, he lost. Can we go to Liberia and point to institutions, corporate institutions, or point to issues to say these are corporate actors or a corporate actor who came to Liberia, who established this, who work in Coca-Cola and a level that we never expected him. What are those things that we can see before getting to the president? Are we going to?
Thank you. I wanted to be very fair to you and give you.
Are we taking Kumis to the presidency before Kumis start building institutions and
Oh,
facing our duty?
For Wazzy right now to speak. Mr. Wazzy.
Yeah, good day. Thanks so much for your long sermon.
No, I got interrupted. I spoke for less than 3 minutes.
All right, no problem. The first time I heard the name Ellis Cummings, I wanted to know the person. So I read a lot about his corporate experience and so forth. But then I got disappointed when I heard he say the only job he won in Liberia is the presidency.
Yeah,
to me that didn't make sense at the time.
He said it.
Up to now, it doesn't make sense. Because when you identify, you don't have already a strong connection with the people, and you look at the presidency only as the job you want in Liberia. Now the presidency does not just come to people as on a silver platter. You got to work for it. You got to first of all build relationship with the people, and I think that is Mr. Cummings' own challenge, and he needs to build a strong relationship with the population. Now, it is not a secret that current President George Weah, our Senate bearer, is, more known by the voting population than any politician in Liberia, unlike Ellen or former President Taylor and other people. Now, but there are governance factors, things that have happened that could also affect our re-election prospects, which we cannot rule out, and we should not rule that out. So I like the point I think you, Dr. Richardson, stressed. I don't know whether it was you or Conor Gray, where you talk about anything could happen from now to December.
That's
October. October. Fadiga also mentioned that. When you have some of our supporters walking away, they're disenchanted. Some of the stakeholders who supported us before are now disenchanted, they're going away. Some of those factors could serve as a political spillover that could definitely undermine or stand in the way of our re-elections. So that's why I'm one sedition who is totally against the quote-unquote bad blood between our party and people like Prince Johnson and other people, because I work with President Prince Johnson team. I know exactly what they brought to us. And I believe that trying to find our own way in their territory could be considered political encroachment, and it could definitely affect us. And it could open the avenue for our contenders to step in and see the show. So that is just one part of it. But to say Mr. Cummings is a nobody in the Liberian body politic will also be very unfair, because in politics, every engagement have got a benefit. It comes every time you go out to engage people, every time you reach out and you identify with people, it definitely gives you some dividends. So people like Cummings, Honorable Alexander Cummings, Ambassador Boakai, and other politicians, even the Senate bearer of the LPDP, former Speaker Tyler, Vice President Joe Howard Taylor, you got key stakeholders in the country. One of the examples that can easily tell you that every time somebody go out to advocate or engage the public, they tend to benefit, reap something politically, is Simeon Freeman. Simeon Freeman, he been participating in the presidential elections for a while now, but
30 seconds, please, and then I go to
okay. But I mean, for some reason, he has been unable to really govern us the kind of vote he needs to really come third or fourth. But every time he speaks, people listen. No Liberian underestimate the power of Simeon Freeman's ideas, his analysis of prevailing issues. So those kind of stakeholders want to go one side to support a candidate. You don't want to underestimate that particular camp.
Thank you. By the way, Simeon Freeman will be here on Monday if all our plans go well, so we can expand on his topic. Conor Gray.
Just to cue up from what Mr. Woolsey said about Freeman, I think Liberia has this ability to look at someone in the eye and believe whether they're a serious politician that can take them off their struggle. If you ask me, they have not seen that in probably Mr. Freeman. So every time he speaks, he's been dismissed as just another politician speaking. Even though he proffers some good ideas, I've listened to him, and in uncertain term, without dismissing. But I think he doesn't come with that seriousness in leading, that people can say, yes, this could be my president. But the idea that Alex Cummings, whatever he's doing, is not getting dividend. I like to refer people to back in 2017, an unknown guy who just entered the race, and nobody was expecting it. He came, he garnered probably 5 times what somebody who is familiar with the soil, somebody who has participated in our politics, Benin Ayure, for ages, 5 times his vote, even beat Benin Ayure in his own hometown or in his own district in Carisburg. Now, that was an unknown guy. There's a reason why people gravitate to the unknown. When they know what the others have to offer and they've tested them, they can see that they have not been able to satisfy their desire. A silent majority of Liberians don't come out in the hoopla where everybody fanfaring, waving party t-shirt, and there's a silent majority of Liberia who consider itself peaceful. They don't want to be part of that trouble. They only exercise their will when nobody is watching, and that is in the ballot box. So we believe that that silent majority is watching. They don't make noise. They don't come on Facebook. I've encountered people who don't even have a Facebook account. And when I say, do you watch, this, they say, what is that? It's not that they're not significant in our body politic. It's just that some people are peaceful. They don't want to be part of this noise. And those individuals are seriously watching the body movement of the politician. And if you're that politician who has been in the public limelight for some time, they know you. Sometimes it may benefit you. Another time they will judge you based on performance. Al said it, that the two people have performance that people can tap onto. Liberian people will say, this guy, he looks serious. We've never tried him. He has done some great things for other people. Maybe he's the man. He's the one that will deliver us. I'm pretty sure there's a silent majority of Liberians who are thinking that way.
Okay.
But I'll leave it here so we can bring in the callers.
Yeah, take the call. I just wanted to show
Thank you.
something.
So if you guys have additional thoughts, let's put it in your closing. We'll have an opportunity.
Yeah, we'll put it in the closing.
But I really want Liberians to communicate with us, add the voice to the conversation that we're having right now. So I want to talk about the responsibilities of being a citizen of Liberia, like supporting and defending the Constitution, staying informed about issues affecting your community, participating in the democracy process, respecting the law, pay your taxes, even though I know that's kind of challenging for many Liberians to do right now. Respect the rights of other peoples, their belief system, their opinions, respecting that. Participating in your local community when you're time when your community leader calling for a meeting and wanting us to discuss keeping the community clean, those kind of things. When you are being called by the Justice Department to serve on jury, which I believe does happen in Liberia, you participate. Those are all the responsibilities, and those are the kind of things I want to know. What are you doing? Everybody's to the opposition. Oh, Mr. Cummings not connecting to the community. How are you connecting with the best interest of Liberia? Let's forget about these political leaders here. How are you communicating to other people in your community to bring change to the Liberia? So Liberia won't be like in the bottom of the hierarchy, so we can get caught up with other countries. That's the kind of questions we want you to answer. How are you contributing to the development of Liberia? So Aaron, take it on.
Okay, so 077771075 05551075175 the number to call and be live on the program this evening. Let's take this very first person. You listen to the question. Welcome. Good evening. Let's hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel, and I joined this discussion from district number 15, looking kind of a precise.
Go ahead, Bala.
Okay, I my contribution personally in the West Side in our country. I'm a student of teacher education, and I am contributing to the educational sector of our country. Though we all move to politics, but I think we can do is to get involved into the building process of our country, because even if we have a better president tomorrow, if we invest at that training of course the president will still encounter a lot of problems. So I am immensely contributing towards the educational sector and the student of teacher education. But to drop the line quickly, I want to disagree with Beautiful on one of his points made concerning this concept. I think he's not a person who cannot bring people together. We have something called CPP, and one person will still remain. So I think people who should be making no kind of a statement should be those who think the CPP came together to in presidency, because people feel entitled to it. I want it should not be anybody by all costs.
Thank you, my
I want
brother.
to give another Mr. Cummings for sticking up to that CPP.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you so much.
Please announce the phone number. Yeah, people wanted to know your number.
Robert Nwako, and I call you from District 7.
When this caller dropped the line, I'll do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Listen, we talking too much in Liberia.
Did you get the question from Dr. Richardson?
Yeah, the question, this is what I want to drop at. We can't continue to talk out all of these questions and you expect the yes or no answer. We must talk a little bit about it. Quite frankly speaking, if you check from our independent up to the then President Barkley, then we stop and people from Tottenham to now. Can one person show me which one the president that actually make mark in this country? Besides they talking, can somebody show me that president and say this is how this country will run and this is how we should run this country? We all speaking, no investor, no this. We don't want to copy from the past. But everybody coming to speak as if to say somebody will just come there at that presidency and just begin to play some magic and the country get developed. We refuse to copy from the past leader. We criticize people so much. There is, right now, as we speak, my brother, there is no program in Liberia. You know that? How many foreign guests are visiting us? I will not go far, or let me just stop right to Tobo. When Tobo was president, you saw people come here. You saw investors coming here. You saw a prime minister from South Africa. I just don't know the month, I know the year in 1975. What was the visit in Liberia for? At the time, people used to look at Liberia, they're begging us. They come in so that we can back them. What was the magic? And what was the foolishness that was there? Sorry for that word if it is harsh. But every time we're just talking crazy people, this very thing that we're talking about, I love Kumi so much. But Kumi don't have a base now as we speak. Nobody will fool us. We let Kumi don't have a base yet. We want him to establish that base, then of course we can carry him. We wanted him to do something, but everybody just show Kumi, also Coca-Cola, and so people just backing for that.
Thank
so
you,
my brother, we got to change. We got to learn from the past, and then we will learn something good in this country, and our country will develop. Right now, this regime, there is nothing we can do to stop it. It's all late. But we better make a good change this time around.
Thank you.
Somebody that gets ideas. And
Thank
don't
you, my
ask me who is that person. I got a person set in my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I ain't gonna ask you. 077771075 05551101075 are the numbers to call and be live on the program. Let's take this person here. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay, I'm Lasanche Roland Trove. I call from Monrovia. Well, I'd like to say good evening or good afternoon to your panelists. As a Liberian, we have been doing our own little thing in our community. Work the community, putting young people together, and show that we always keep this place peaceful. And what we start doing now is to sensitize people to do their voter registration when it opens up on the 20th of March, because that is crucial for our election. Because if you are not registered, then everything we're saying is just elusive. You will not be a voter. So you have to register so that you can be a voter. And one thing, all of Goody just said, Liberian politics is kind of unique. And Liberia is a peculiar place. Look, Liberia politics goes by name recognition. When people vote based on the names they know, no stranger has ever won in this country. People must be aware. So for the opposition to win, we must come together. I'm from the opposition community. We must come together, work together. If not, see what happened in Nigeria. What happened in Nigeria? The votes were divided. So the ruling party won. The same thing could happen here. President George Weah is a celebrity. He has 30% of support base that will never dwindle. If George Weah was not president, that 30% popularity is there. We must realize that and understand it. The sooner we work together, the better it is for us. If not, let's get ready to attend President George Weah inauguration in 2024. Thank you and have a God bless you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. Hello.
Go ahead, you're live.
The name is Ben Gasida Ford, and I do form in this night from Abel Firestone, exactly. I listened to Gulog for his own analysis.
Good day, not Gulog.
Good day for his own analysis regarding the issue on a discussion. And let this be very clear that within our country, if the opposition will not realize that they need unity in order to bring back the sanity of our nation.
Hello, my brother. Oh, you drive off the line. Can I take more calls that are regency?
Yes, we're going up till 5:46.
Okay, that'll be 10:45 here. Go ahead, welcome.
Thank you. This is DJ Lomer.
DJ Lomer, go ahead.
Yeah, from Cornwall. I heard people saying, oh, the politicians are not serious because they are not together. If we waiting for honorable boss and coming to go back together before the opposition together, then if you in the opposition and you see that this government is leading the right way and this government is doing well, go and vote for them. But it's not leading well, and you want them to leave power, vote for anyone in the opposition. And I can tell you, in the second round, where the opposition went against the ruling party, that when the opposition will unite, but say now at this time if we come together, because everybody is eager or they want to be there. And we are second honorable coming to be there. You never can do like Robert to be anything but to become president. And I tell you, the senior part we are coming now, go on Waka, and then let it be maybe 2-3 years back and attend what to you. But you see, you got money you want to spend. At some point, you see your money, they have the family share more. They spend the money at the end of the day, they election, other people win. This is the time that the only thing that you do, let it go on the same plan. If I all coming go second, Unity Party to support them. If I all Unity Party go second, coming to support them and they move them boom from overall. But instead, if you can't look at Joseph Boka and coming a late, that time singing is up to the Liberian people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome. Welcome, you are live. Go ahead. Hello? Okay, let me take this person. Hello, you are live. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Let's hear you.
Thanks a million for the opportunity. This is Augustine Fire, and I'm calling you from Kingsville. In my little corner what I'm doing, most especially for the coming elections. I'm mobilizing people for us to go and register in district 10. I realize that the only representative I know in Liberia is Honorable Yeke Koluva. Yeke is in an advocacy for us. To the extent that he forfeit his salary, he denied family food only because he want to see Liberia moving forward. On the other hand, concerning Mr. Kumi, I like the way you go praising. You uplift him, but I don't think we are ready for Mr. Kumi. Believe it or you leave it. Come October, we will massively reject him at the polls. What we realize is that the people have this law, the opposition are very united, but we thought we could at first then remove this government from power. Because we are suffering, we're going a whole lot of things. But because they see their inordinate ambition, especially for Mr. Kumi, that the only thing that he can start for is the presidency. He doesn't want to be senator. He doesn't want to be vice president. The only thing is, make me president. Make you president for what? You are well, you are not new. You are relatively a senior to us. We will not trust a senior like the way we trusted you here. And today we're going through hell. Thank you, my brother, for the opportunity.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aaron, sometimes when you get respond and we laugh, it's funny. Get me laugh. You're too funny. I want to thank all of our callers for participating. This is exactly what we need to be doing. Participating, respecting all of your views. I want to thank the callers that particularly answered the questions. One caller said he contributed to the education sector of the country. I appreciated that. Another caller said he's putting young people to get up to keep Liberia peaceful. Someone said helping people to register to vote, which is very important. That's something that you as a citizen can do. Someone said he's mobilizing people together. So those are the things that we are calling on our citizens to do. We can talk all day here about all the opposition, the person in government, the establishment, all of this. But you, as a person, what can you do? We're going to move on now to our closing comments. Now that we had Liberians speak to us, I'm going to also begin our closing comments with Mr. Fadiga. I'm sorry, who's on my list here? Mr. Wazi, you start, and then we'll go to Mr. Fadiga, and then we'll go to Conor Gray, and then Good Day, and then I'll be the last person to close. Mr. Wazi.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Before I make my parting comment, I don't know whether you will give me the time to talk about the student in Philippines.
Yes, you can use this opportunity to talk about that as well.
Okay, our understanding is that Legis, with support from the World Bank, sent, I think Good is familiar with this information, sent some students to Philippines to do masters in statistics. We don't have too many professionals, who study statistics in our country. And the students went there and they started having some issues with our government sending them the money to Legis. And unfortunately, I think 8 of the students didn't make it. They have to drop them from the program and they have since returned to the country. But you have 2 more students there who are stranded, and Legis of late sent some money to the other student and left the other guy out because before they could send the money, he led a media campaign that called the attention of the World Bank to their plight. And then they engaged Legis, and that's how they were able to send some money to support the students. So I think the administration, I don't know how factual this information is, but I will, recommend that we give the students a platform, the opportunity to come and at least tell the world what exactly is going on with them. Because I know what it means to leave your country and go to another country in an effort to acquire quality education, and you get stranded. Your sponsors turn their back on you, and you don't know anybody there to survive, and no embassy to even reach out to. I know how our people can behave sometimes, not just this government, but even past government. Foreign service officials have serious problem getting their per diem and other support in time. How much more students who don't have work permit to work? Imagine a country like Philippines. Even if they give you work permit, how many hours you work for before you even buy yourself basic items that you need to use on a daily basis?
Yes.
And so thanks so much. I look forward to the opportunity for us to give the opportunity to the students.
We're working on it, Mr. Worsey. I'm working on it.
All right. So the guy, he's Peter C. Double Jr.
I met him yesterday on a platform, so I'm working on it.
Oh yeah, he's a smart young man, and I think Liberia, we should put more resources in people who go out there to study medical science or mathematics, or general applied mathematics, or maybe arterial science, or in those courses that we don't have more people more professional in. We don't have more professionals in areas, so we need more of those kinds of individuals around.
Thank you. I'm working on it, Mr.
Thank you very much. I think this has been a wonderful presentation tonight, as usual. And I'd like to encourage the Liberian people, to my fellow partisans back home, members of the CDC, to President Weah. And I think somebody talk about before President Weah became president, whether he had an institution. He established a foundation that helped people in Africa during refugee time, in Ghana, even in Liberia. He also helped to sponsor some Liberian players to go out there to seek greener pasture. He established a media outlet. I think he did a lot more. And that's one thing a lot of politicians miss. Instead of saying you just want a presidency or you just want a particular thing, try to first of all reach out to the people, do something. It's important, And so just to get that information straight, Conor Gray, I think you were the one who talked about that. And so thank you very much, Dr. Francine, Richardson, for moderating this show tonight. And I look forward to appearing again on editions in the near distant future, maybe Monday or Tuesday and so forth.
Thank you. I always appreciate
Have a good one. Have a nice weekend, and I wish you all the best. All of you.
Thank you, Mr. Worsey. I always appreciate your contribution to the show. As usual, we want to have a very balanced and diverse voice. I'm sure Conor Gray going to have more to tell you than I'm going to Mr. Fadiga, but we're going to tell you some of the things that Mr. Cummings have done for Liberia. Like if that's the question, I don't like to talk about those things because I don't think we should expect a private citizen to be able to build a hospital or school or bring businesses to Liberia in order to run for public office. My goodness, you know how many people can afford? Then you guys are just kind of putting a price on running for an elected office, and that's not democracy. So I'm going to move to Mr. Fadiga for him to do his closing. But
I will just start off with that. The thing is, in Liberia, like I said, we can recycle bad information. Every bad thing we can recycle it. Look, the prerequisite to the presidency, and especially to having a good president, is that person must be competent, meet the age requirement, be competent, be a noble citizen, be somebody. Look, they say Michelle Obama had one quote to say, I can't remember that quote. I just lost my train of thought. She said, the presidency doesn't
reveal who you are.
Reveal who you are. Yeah. If you are a bad person, when you become president, you just become more bad. There were a couple of eras that were very, very skeptical of the president we are. And if you listen to my podcast in the past, I mentioned 3. The president, he's a nice person. I think he's a very nice person. I don't know him personally because I've seen him from a distance, but there were certain traits that I knew that would have prevented him from becoming a good president. When you are very flamboyant, when promiscuity, I don't know about it, but everything in Liberia is an open secret. We start talking about promiscuity, flashy, and besides the soccer page, this man, I usually use the phrase, he was a successful failure. He failed in every other endeavor that he undertook, especially business-wise. He ran recreational businesses all over the country that failed. If I had that person to choose versus someone that have ran something successfully before, I would say I would choose that person. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't look at all those things. It was not about competence. It was just about he loved the country, would like him, and People want someone that looked at them to be in the president, in the Oval Office. They feel that by that person being there, that person will help them. But we have seen it's not always the case. Sometimes people that want more, that are greedy, that love things, they just tend to want more and more and more and more. That's why we see when they got there for the first time, we see them trying to run to grab wealth. And, building structures here, buying things here. The other one building a mausoleum for his mom. And we see the greedy tree. So when people start to do this thing, you have to look at leadership. The reason nothing gets done in the country, people fight hard to buy you rice today. And once you finish eating what is supposed to build for you tomorrow, they're done with you. Politicians buy you rice, get you t-shirts, get you all the things. At the end of the day, they move on to not caring about you anymore because you are not looking for someone. They do not tell you what they will do. They just give you rice. And the politics of rice have gone on for some time. Another thing again, one caller said, no, which leader have done anything good in Liberia? No, we have had some successful presidents in Liberia. You have to look at your history and look at the numbers. It's not just, people don't just make up things. There have been some people talk about the Tauber. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, like our hater, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was a very successful president. She did a lot of good for our country. Even though they mismanaged this corner opportunity, she did a lot of good for Liberia. And we have someone to have that continuity, but now we would have been better off. Another thing people said about the numbers, let me tell you one thing that happened. If Good Day Flomo, if you can find that number, I will tell you. During the 2017 elections, the godfather of Nima County, the man, the Kingsmaker, he won by 127,000 votes, which put him around 8%. Yes, the godfather from the largest county. Do you know how many votes Mr. Cummings won? Dr. Richardson, you mute. Mr. Cummings King Mr. Cummings King with 112,000 votes. First time in an election, newcomer, 100. If you look at the margin of error, Mr. Cummings and Prince Johnson had almost similar votes.
The variance.
The variance. If you look at the variance, it's 100. Look at it. Just 112. He had 127,000 votes in 2017. Mr. Cummings, first time with all the different scandals on the national scene, got 112,067 votes.
Good point.
There's a news to me. That number is not consistent. It could go up and down depending on how they play the politics and anything that happened between now. As it's sad I have to come here and be like a spokesman for Cummings. I'm not a spokesman. It's just that the way the show went today, we have to put it in. But so people should not think that things can happen. Anything can happen. You may say something today, call somebody man, everybody take away from you tomorrow. You may say something. So politics is not static. It's very dynamic. Anything can happen.
Yes.
So
yes, thank you,
I will leave it at that and look forward
to
join again.
We look forward to hearing more from you. But you're right, politics is not static. You can have a security problem, a problem that you consider to be a major accomplishment, like we see happening in Liberia right now, and things go spinning out of control. Colonel Gray, could you please do your closing, and then we'll go to Good Day.
Gentlemen and lady, I think this was a fruitful discussion today. For the benefit of those who probably may not know some of us, we come with a wealth of experience to this program, unlike probably what others may think about us. So, but one thing I would say, here in the U.S. or maybe as a culture in solving crime, whenever things happen, the first person of interest will be someone who is extremely familiar with you, someone who knows you. When I hear Liberians say we don't know that person, it gives me the same inclination that the person you know is who continue to hurt you. The reason why those you know hurt you with impunity is because they know you. They know you're not going to do anything. You continue to reward them in spite of the fact that they continue to hurt you. Unlike a stranger who may not know the terrain, so therefore they may not know the business of hurting people in the Liberian government. And this is why the fear is so widespread. When people jittering over a stranger coming, is because they come in to close a lot of loopholes. And that is what is making our country now to progress. There are a lot of people who are sucking from the system. They have become parasite. Some of them have become leeches, and they're just hanging there. So any government that comes in, they have their share of the bounty. To see a stranger coming in, it's scary. So when I hear people say, "Oh, we don't know that man," we he has to do this, he has to do that. But here is somebody who is saying that Cummings only prefers the presidency. Look, there's nothing wrong in you saying, "I want this." Only Liberia that can become a crime. If they line different positions up, they say choose one, and you say, "I want the presidency," I don't see anything wrong with that. If you want to count what Cummings has done in the relative short time he has been in Liberia, you can put all politicians together. They may not match that. One, we have an individual who is so introverted. That means it's into himself. He does not tell people what he has done for others. Whether it is his foundation, the Cummings Foundation for that he runs.
Left, Gray.
I'm sorry?
1 more minute left, please.
Yes. Whether it's his foundation, whether it's the micro loans he has provided business women that were going to go down in business, whether it's the University of Liberia student where we equip their lab with this and that, whether it's even business that he's undertaking, Cummings made it clear that I cannot explain what I'm doing in terms of business because we have a government that is vindictive, that will come back after you based on politics. So there are so many investments in our country that people see going back. They don't even know who the actual owner. The thing is, Mr. Cummings is a guy where, and we have a president who keeps speech from people. Let them know that they know this is your business. Do you know what will happen to you? Even the 2-story building he placed out there,
30
it's
seconds.
a landmark in the country, and people, who knows? So definitely, when we want to choose our priority and we don't choose it rightly, we'll continue to be hurt by people who know us.
Thank
and
you.
This is my fear.
Good
that we
day.
want to choose another bad guy who knows us and will come back and hurt us with impunity.
Thank you. Good day. And then I'll close us.
All right. And let me also say many thanks to all those who came and those who will come later. But let me leave with these few words. We have to learn how to institutionalize our political institutions during, after elections. We should not sit and just come out to say, hey, until I become a politician, until I become a president or a senator or representative before I do this. If our institutions, that is our political institutions, are institutionalized across the country, even during a normal regime, we are able to run our affairs and undertake projects and employ more people who will benefit from us. We will put food on people's tables, and we will put money in people's pockets and in their purse that will enable them to go to send their children to school and advance themselves. Institutionalizing political institutions after elections will also help to strengthen the democracy, will help to pressure the government, because all political parties will be active, though they will not be into election move, but it should be like an NGO where everyone will be running their activities. If you visited Lofa during the campaign, you told them, if I become president, I will do this, I will do that. Yes, you may not do 50% of what you told them. Even if you can do 10% of what you told them after election like that, the people will believe that, yes, you would specifically do what you think you would do for them. If you institutionalize your political parties by, visiting those people, not political project, hand pumps. We're not talking about hand pumps and toilets or whatever, but at least building vocational institutions in those places you visited during your campaign, and implementing it, allowing the young people to get, to get re-established, to get reintroduced into the society based on what you're doing after the election periods. I think these things will help us if we institutionalize them. But let's again, let's forget about just believing in one individual. We saw this with the CDC, and it is currently with the ANC and the Unity Party. Every day is Cummins, is Boakai, and that is because we depend on them for everything. We don't pay taxes, that is, we don't pay due or whatever. We depend on Cummins to take money from his pocket and bring it for us to buy fuel, from pocket to buy fuel. So if we all can start contributing to our political institutions, they will be institutionalized, and at the end of the day, the country will benefit from those dues that we will be paying, instead of us waiting to become ministers or assistant ministers when our political leaders win. Again, thank you.
Okay, my final thoughts here today is that I agree that Liberia is a unique country. Some might say it's a unique experiment that was tried by the American Colonization Society. But where we are right now, all of the indicators when they are measuring countries in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of economy, we are not doing well. We are not doing well in our country. You can tell. Look at the price of gas in the country. Look at the price of rice. Just recently, we heard there was a shortage of rice in the country that some of us have never even experienced before. And these are the indicators that we look at. So Liberians need to come together. Excuse me, Mr. Worthy.
I think those are global meltdown issues that you tying down to Liberia.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Just go ahead.
I want to look at. I want to say that, have you looked at other areas in the country like Guinea, like Sierra Leone? Are they having the same indicators? And what
I would suggest.
I'm close anyway.
I would rather suggest that we find a time to look at the economic outlook of the country. Let's find a time, a special time.
What I want to say, Mr. Wolsey, I'm saying in my closing comments, and I will be interrupted, is that before the Ukraine war started, there were problems in Liberia already. Okay? Before COVID started, we already were having money missing from the coffers. We already had Prince Johnson come here and said in his transitional period, when he saw a note that says $150 million was missing. So these are not issues that we can say we want to tie on to global affairs in the world. So what I'm trying to tell Liberians are, we need to focus on our country. We need to focus on what is the best interest of our country compared to looking at opposition's establishment. Okay, we Liberians can do something about what is going on in our country. Our country didn't. I'm not going to say our country got to where it is because of George Weah. It didn't happen overnight. If I say that, I will be so wrong. I will not be an intellectual thinking person. And it will not take for us to get on the right path in an overnight way either. It will be on an illusion if we think our country is just going to be tomorrow morning, we wake up and everything's going to be fine. What it requires is for all of us to work in the best interest of our country and start asking, what is the opposition going to do? What is Mr. Cummins going to do? Mr. Cummins is not connecting. How are you connecting to the interests of Liberia? That's what I want to know. What are you doing? How are you connecting to the interests of Liberia? Is what you need to be asking yourself. We want to make our country a more deserving place. That's why I come here. That's why I volunteer my time. I don't care about what goes on in Ukraine. I do care, but I don't care what goes on in Ukraine. I don't care what goes on in Nigeria election. What I care about is Liberia, because that's where I was born. That's where my brothers and sisters are. Yes, I'm global. I think about it that way. I live in a developed country. But at the end of the day, Liberia is what's on my heart and what's on my mind. I want to thank all of our callers. I want to thank Liberians for participating today. I want to thank all of the panelists here today. Worthy, I like your opposition mode today. I really do. I like the fact that you are counter-arguing. It makes for a very intellectual bastion, as you say. That's one of the words I use. intellectual bastion of
bastion of intellectualism.
yes, exactly. I don't know where you got that word from, but I appreciate it. Colonel Grace, thank you for being here, taking off your time, and now you're in your studio. Got to hear you. Father God, I like how you, even though you know you're an analyst, you don't belong to any political party, but you speak to the facts. Good day. I know what you're up to today, so I'm not even going to go there. You're up to time.
He made some order appear the party already.
Yeah, you know, everyone could go and know exactly what they're doing. You know, at one point, they get together. They were in the background talking to each other as to how they're going to make us have our discussion here today. So I thank you, Liberians, for joining. Yes, we can be serious, but at the same time, we like to laugh. And thank you so much. I will see you guys on Monday. Okay?
Thank you.
We'll have Simeon Freeman here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good day made the day today.
James did well. He fought a very good fight. So, folks, we would like to end up this way. My name is Aaron. I'll be back here on Saturday. That's about a week from now. But on Monday, the show returns with another producer and the panelists as well will be back here. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bosman.
Spoon television.